Hello, welcome back. So in this video, I should say, because I'm probably going to film a couple for today, I want to talk about something that actually kind of blew up, a story that blew up the last couple of days on social media, especially in the conservative world, conservative activism, you could say, on social media, which was in relation to Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk. Now, if you don't know who they are, I'll give you a brief summary. Basically, they are both um, really prominent figures in the young conservative or millennial Gen Z conservative uh, universe world, whatever you want to call it. And they both have very large followings, both have basically direct access to the White House, to Donald Trump, to President Trump, I should say. And they're both frequent guests on Fox News. Candace Owens has her own podcast. I believe Charlie Kirk does too. Charlie founded Turning Point USA, which is a student-run organization that has chapters on college campuses. And I believe Candace once was like a communications director for them, but she's on her own now. But they both have books that are Charlie's book just came out, and Candace's was supposed to come out, but it got pushed back. Not sure why, but it was kind of weird because it was supposed to come out when Charlie's book actually came out, but I think I don't know what happened there. Anyways, it kind of has to do with what I'm talking about today. So what happened was Candace Owens got one of her tweets that she just sent out, I think it was yesterday or the day before, in response to Governor Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan. Her extension of the Michigan protests got flagged by Twitter and basically prompted an outcry from not only her but from a lot of people telling Twitter to give her account back. No one's really surprised that this happened, but what was interesting, I thought, was what happened on Parler. So on Twitter, it was a huge outcry from conservative people who are still on Twitter about giving her her account back, including Charlie Kirk, who hasn't been suspended yet, but was advocating for her to get her account back. And I thought it was interesting the way Parler responded, because Parler is a place it's like a Twitter equivalent, but without all the bureaucracy and political bias that is on Twitter and their algorithm and Facebook and whatnot. And Charlie and Candace actually have accounts set up on Parler, but they are not frequent on it. They started posting a few times about almost a year ago at this point, but have since not really kept up. So what happened was on Parler, let's go to the post. Hold on. Her username is Jello Shells. She posted an article it said, breaking: conservative superstar Candace Owens is suspended from Twitter after challenging tyrannical Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. And she wrote, her caption was, Jello Shells was, "If only there was another platform she could use." And I thought it was a great point because she already has an account on there. But what was more interesting was, it just canceled out of me. Hold on. Another I thought was more interesting was John Matze, who is the founder of Parler. I thought he put it really nicely, and actually, if there's any instance where you kind of have to be not as nice, which I'll let you know, got called out a little bit down there. This is an instance especially. So what John wrote was, he tagged at Charlie and at Candace, which are their usernames on Parler, and he said, both of you, quote, "both of you knew bans and suspensions were coming for you for a long time. Both of you and I," John, "had extensive conversations about it at dinners as a group. Twitter has a right to do what they want with their property. You chose to stay there. You could have rebuilt your following on Parler or any other platform. You could have made a difference, organized people, used your television time to make a difference, but you have not. In less than a week, she will have her Twitter account back, and this temporary publicity stunt and self-promotion exercise will be over for you. But not for the millions across the world who are experiencing real censorship and have no real voice." And honestly, I completely agree with John in this case. What Candace and Charlie had an opportunity to do almost a year ago at this point was to start sharing things on both Twitter and Parler, so maybe a duplicate tweet or whatever it is, and just carry it over to Parler. But then, in order to incentivize people to move from Twitter to Parler, post exclusive content on Parler, and let their Twitter audience know, hey, I'm doing this thing, and make it a high value thing that people want to see or hear or interact with, whatever it may be. Hey, I'm posting it on Parler, and you have to be on Parler to get it. And so I think that would have been a great way to go about it a year ago. And the problem now is, and all of the comments on here are in support of John, and really many of them are not attacking, but what's the right word I want to use here? Criticizing Charlie and Candace for not taking the right approach to this situation. And one person actually I'll read you my response, because I was going to read their response first, but mine was, I said, thank you, John, for calling them out. It's not a coincidence. Charlie just had a book come out, and Candace is about to release hers. They better check themselves before their audience turns on them, resulting in a major setback for young conservatives. And this person responded to me, quote, I don't turn on people just because they chose a different platform, and I certainly don't back up someone publicly trying to humiliate someone else. I guess some people just rejoice with bullying others. I responded to this person, quote, I agree with you. Just a word of caution to Charlie and Candace, so they take a career hit for something they may be blind to because of their success so far. And the person said, I completely understand the motive, but disagree with the delivery. And we can agree to disagree on that one, to be completely honest. But sometimes you have to be a little harsh, of course, be truthful and honest about what you're saying, but frame it or wrap it in a box that's attention grabbing and serious, so people get the point. It's the same thing that Donald Trump does. He frames things that are what he's trying to say in a way that will get traction in mainstream media and have his supporters also support it as well. So I think it's a great tool, and it also mirrors the thing I love in like public speakers or educators, teachers, whatever you want to call them, is they wrap their information in humor or something that'll keep the audience's attention. Because the worst thing, I think, is going to like a speech or something and just seeing someone read off of a PowerPoint, or hearing them just read statistics and like read a prompter or whatnot. I think that's why we have President Trump, is because when he goes off script, it's entertaining. Whether you like it or not, it's entertaining. Grabs people's attention. It gets headlines. It grabs headlines, basically. Same thing with like teachers and educators or speeches or public speakers, is when they add humor into their speeches. I think it's been researched and proven that is actually a better way for you to retain the information, is through humor and through kind of a comedic approach to education and speeches. So I thought that was a very interesting approach. And I think the same goes for seriousness and kind of a provocative way of teaching or explaining something. So I wanted to make sure I said that. And I think here's my prediction, is clearly this is shaking up Charlie and Candace. But now if they try to harness or start moving their audience over to Parler the way they should have done about a year ago, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, and they're going to be left or be met with a lot more backlash than they maybe are used to from people who would be more likely to support them, is what I'm trying to say. Because people who are on Parler and use it frequently, like I do, I use it Parler and Twitter frequently right now. I don't have a huge audience, so it wouldn't make sense for me to completely drop Twitter at this point. But if I was in the position of Charlie and Candace, which I'm not, but if I was, and I knew what was happening exactly the way they do, I think it would be smart to start moving people over. But now they're going to meet a little bit of backlash that they probably weren't expecting on Parler after they praised the platform and had the founder on their side. It's going to be an interesting thing to see play out, and I think they're going to be met with a little more backlash than they anticipated, and I actually think it might not scare them off, but prevent them from actually coming back on the Parler, because they might realize that they shot themselves in the foot on this one, and too bad. I mean, they kind of at this point are looking like sellouts, if I'm going to be honest with you. But I'm not saying writing a book is being a sellout, but putting that above what the reason that you even have an audience to sell a book to is a slippery slope, and is going to take a little bit of time to get over, and a little bit of time to fix those broken relationships and broken wounds from their audience. So I'm going to wrap up this topic here today. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree with the way Charlie and Candace handled this? And yeah, just let me know. I think I'll leave it at that. I would love to hear what you have to say, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.